Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings King Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited actually to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of the Huddle. Coach, yes, all right.
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a six-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name, yo. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. We report live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the six-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of Hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today is the day. By the way, before we even get it going, welcome back to the Six Rings Kane Show. It is your early National Signing Day extravaganza here, as we got a really awesome show coming at you today with some really special guests. Of course, the four horsemen are here for you as always. But before we get it going, Vish, I got to give a shout out. Listen, one day, here it is. You ready? There it is. Taco Bell, baby.
He's still trying to land that sponsorship.
We're representing today, boys. All right, so shout out to Taco Bell. As the guys wanted to give me a hard time last week, but it's all love, baby. I love it. So I'm wearing my Taco Bell shirt today. We're excited though, because the Hurricanes did some damage on the recruiting trail / transfer portal. It is National Signing Day. We're early National Signing Day today. We got a lot to go over. We got a real special guest waiting backstage that we're going to bring on right now. But before we get started on that, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. So prizepicks.com is our official sponsor of the show today, ladies and gentlemen. It's real simple. As you can see on the screen there, we'll talk about it right now real quick, but make sure you go to prizepicks.com, enter the code 5, F-I-V-E. We will match your initial deposit up to $100. It's real simple. Pick more than 2 players. So from 2 to 5 players, let's say, it all depends on how much money you want to win. You pick the over-under on their individual categories. For instance, these are the top 4, the starting quarterbacks for your Final Four, basically, right? For the playoffs here in college football, it's Max Duggan, J.J. McCarthy, C.J. Stroud, and Stetson Bennett. Those are your over-unders on their total passing yards. It's real simple. You choose whether they're going to go over or they're going to go under on this, right? My guess, this is just my guess, and don't take this and run with it. But my guess, most of them are going to go under on this, right? We got some great defenses playing in the playoffs. The only one I can see maybe going over, J.J. McCarthy. I think that he's got a little bit of an opportunity. But aside from that, it's going to be tough. So, but like I said, choose the over-under, and that's how you win, boys and girls. You can mix and match, by the way. You don't have to do only college football. You can do the NFL. You can mix and match with Major League Baseball coming at you real soon. And so many different sports. You can mix match players. Again, choose the over-under on their individual categories and win. Make sure you go to prizepicks.com. Type in the code 5 when you sign up, and we will give you they will match you $100. Excuse me. It's up to, they will match your initial deposit up to $100. So make sure you check them out. Go to prizepicks.com, and let's get it cracking. And right before we bring them on, guys, we're excited. It is National Signing Day, and I got to bring this guy in right off the bat. He's a legend down here. Right now he's wearing the camo. He's getting ready to do some things up in GA, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and bring on.
Yeah, he's fired up though. Let's bring him on.
He is fired up. It's Canes Day, baby. Let's bring him on.
What's up, fellas? What's up, man?
Coach Hayes is in the building, baby. What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm looking for that wascally wabbit. I can't find him.
By the way, it's not Coach Hayes today. It's the Cane Juice consumer, baby.
That's it, baby.
What's going on? Juice, huh? You got some of that already? Ready to go?
Yeah, hey, I'm out the stand, so I'm good to go for the rest of the night till about 5 this morning. So I'm good.
Woo! Whew, all right, all right. Well, hey, we appreciate you coming on real quick. Talk a little bit of Kings football. Obviously, today, right? We've been talking about this for a while now. What the Miami Hurricanes have done on the recruiting trail and also in the transfer portal, they've been tearing it up. A lot of big time names. Obviously, I know a lot of Miami fans are a little nervous with what's going down over there in Lakeland, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, I kind of want to get your take, Coach, on just the overall recruiting class slash transfer portal class that Miami has put together. Are you excited about it? Is there things that you still want to see them go after, though, that maybe they can fill some more holes?
I mean, me and Blue were just talking about this the other day, man. Listen, Mario Cristobal's recruiting is bar none. Let me tell you something. I told people you can say whatever you want to say about other things, but when it comes to recruiting, he is number one in the nation, man, when it comes to this deal. I mean, for him to land a class like this, I think it's still ranked at number 3 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. So 3 or 4.
I mean, for him to land a 3 coming off of a 5-7 season, and it was a kind of up and down 5-7 season, more on the downside, I guess. But for him to come in, man, and land these kind of guys, get these commitments, and I have to be very honest. I mean, with the Kamani McLean, I mean, if we do lose it, I understand. If we don't, that's great. But my man, listen, for the other recruits, you got to say, listen, I don't know anybody else doing it like this, man. I don't know anybody else that can pull off what he's pulled off from a recruiting aspect with the way the previous season went. Usually when you have a season like that, it takes a dip in recruiting, right? And this guy's, I mean, his thing is off the chart, right? So he's an anomaly when it comes to that kind of stuff, man. So, yeah, I'm super excited for these young men. And, we won't really see this talent pool rear its head for the next couple years, though.
Right, because you're going to see, I mean, most of these guys still need to be developed a little bit, right? It's going to be tough to really gauge how good this recruiting class is, because at the end of the day, once you sign on the dotted line, stars don't matter anymore, right? Now you're in college football. Now you got to compete against the other dudes that are there and against the guys that you're going to go against on Saturdays, right? So it's a whole different story. Mario's going to demand a lot from these kids. If you had to put your finger, and by the way, you guys, this is my last question. You guys can kind of go around after that. If you had to put your finger on one player that you're mostly excited for in this class, who would it be?
Well, you guys already know on my show, I call it the POTS player, pop off the screen player, right? The guy who just pops off the screen. Year 1 was Chase Smith. Year 2 for me was Ahmad Moten, right? Guys that just pop off the tape. This year is definitely Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain pops off the tape simply because of what he's done in high school, the statistics that he's put up against the type of competition that he's facing week in and week out. I always give Miami Central their credit. They will travel plane, train, or automobile to play anybody, anywhere, at any time. And they go in and they get W's out of it. They don't go just play it, to play. They go play and they wreck your season. They go into IMG this year. They've played them. They've played Bishop Gorman in the past. They played St. John's. They play all these different schools. And if they don't win it, they definitely know Miami Central was there. So giving him his credit at 29 sacks, I believe, last year. I think he got 29 again this year, or some close 58 total sacks. I mean, bro, I don't know anybody else doing it at that level. I don't remember anybody else putting up. And Blue, you definitely been covering this way longer than I have. Who do you know has put up 60 sacks in 2 years, bro? I mean, 48 and a half tackles for loss in his junior year. I mean, if that doesn't, and here's why he pops up.
Missing a couple of games too.
Yeah, and here's why he pops off the tape. He's not doing it just because he's bigger, faster, and stronger. He's doing it with technique and fundamentals. Even though he may be playing the poor little Timmy in front of him in some games, he's not just, going through the motion and just running over the guy. He's using the hand techniques. He's flipping his hips. He's using speed to power. He's doing all these different things to be successful and doesn't take a play off. And it goes and shows now when he goes up against the IMGs, the top offensive tackles in the country, or defensive or offensive guards, he's still being successful, right? He doesn't hit a roadblock It's like, well, wait a minute. Last week I played a guy, 185-pound offensive guard tackle. Now this week I'm facing a 5-star. He's still getting the same results. And so that's why he pops off the tape to me, man. Ruben Hurricane Bain.
Yes, sir. Blue, you got anything for Coach Hayes?
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, you and I talked the other night with Flo, and certainly this class, and I think that Jazz kind of hit it. You can't expect have 24 freshmen walk in and make an impact right away. But who do you think gets in the mix? We talked about it the other day where I thought that Maragoa would be the guy because of his experience, because of the competition he's played at, because of his size, because of his twin ability, looks like Evan Neal and heavy hands. And who do you think maybe gets in there and sneaks in there and gets on that 1, 2, 3 depth chart first?
I said earlier in the show, if Kamani McLean signs, and which I'm not, let me excuse that. When Kamani McLean signs, I definitely believe that he is a player, not because he's number 1 or number 2 corner in the country. Again, he's another player that is using skill, technique, and fundamentals at this game. His football IQ pops off the tape. I'm looking at him do second-level stuff, the way he's insulating routes in cover 2. When you're in cover 3, the backside post, he doesn't have any work, so he flies to the middle of the field, makes interceptions. I mean, these are things that the average person won't appreciate. But from a coach's perspective, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, how you see somebody do something, but I know why he did it, and that's next level stuff. So I've always said this. I don't know if he'll definitely start that first game in August against Miami, Ohio, but if anybody happens to break a shoelace or a helmet comes off, I try not to use the I word, the injury word, but if anybody happens to have to be off the field for any moment of time, you might not get your spot back.
We got one more question for Coach Hayes so we can get him out of here, because I know he's out there trying to do some damage. Are you driving right now, or are you just parked?
No, I'm sitting in. It's cold outside. I'm sitting in the car, man. No,
an irresponsible person would
cold?
Go on air driving, Jazz.
I know, right? Representing Taco Bell while I'm driving, baby.
Flow motion be driving and doing it, man.
Yep. Flow motion scares the crap out of me, man. I can't watch it live. I gotta watch the replay. I'm too nervous.
Blue, I think it's in Georgia, right? You're up in GA.
Yeah, Georgia, man, South Georgia.
Oh, okay. Then you could be forgiven for saying it's cold, because if you said it's cold down in Florida, man, someone's gonna ship your ass back there.
Oh man, listen, I'm looking now. It's about 39 degrees, so
Damn.
to me, that's freezing. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's nice though. That's nice. All right. Any one more question for Coach Hayes. Vish, you got anything, DJ?
DJ can go.
Go ahead, DJ.
Hey, Coach, if there's one player in this class that you can think of off the top of your head, and I know there are tons, but can you think of one player who's maybe flying under the radar a little bit? There's tons of big names in this class. Who's one player that's maybe, in your opinion, not getting the recognition that he deserves but should?
That's a good one.
The guy that pops off to me is Stafford, man. He's super athletic, but he doesn't get the recognition. I think some people know him throughout the region, but so far as maybe on a national scale, the Kamani and those guys, Francis Mauigoas and so forth, guy is super athletic, man. I think he can definitely come in and be a contributor, and he can play at a high level. He has a feel for the game. I broke his film down, and he actually hit me up. He was like, "Coach, can you do my senior film?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm so backlogged around here, man. It's a one-man show." But he's one of the guys I really think when he comes in, his development is, I think, can be really simple. His development is just understanding how to play within the scheme of the defense, right, and how to play. But playing the position, I think he definitely can get it easily.
Yeah, I agree. A 40-inch vert basketball kid. somebody that, when he was at O'Galley, a lot of people really didn't look at him that way because sometimes guys, when you have a kid like that who has to, do everything plus sweep the floors and everything, you don't really get a chance to see him at that one position. And I agree with Coach. Stafford's a big time kid who's got all the physical traits. All he just needs to do is get in there and let the defensive backs coaches teach him a little bit more technique, and he'll be set.
Sounds good.
Definitely.
Definitely.
All right.
Coach, let them know where they can find you, man. I know you're out there
in the car.
Yeah, they can. Where they can find you during the week, baby.
Well, if you can find me, that means this camo not working. I gotta go get some other camo, man. Let me tell you something.
I like it.
But no, you guys can catch me, man, at on the website is CoachHayesFootball.com, but all other platforms just Coach Hayes Football. You'll see this ugly mask up here, man, and the logo. And yeah, man, catch us, man. We got a lot of things coming out. We're starting to do these player interviews. It's called the person, the player, and the prospect. We're getting in-depth interviews with a lot of these players coming out. We dropped the Asad Wasim that's going to Colorado. We did doing the young man that went to Clemson, and we got the another kid that's going to Texas. So we got a lot of things going on the channel. Everybody knows I'm a Kane fan, but we try to cover a lot of things as well just on the channel itself. So, guys, man, I appreciate you guys having me. But I got one question for you guys.
Okay.
With the way Mario doing this recruiting, y'all gonna have to change the name of that show.
Well, listen, from your mouth to God's ears, Coach.
Listen,
right.
What do y'all do when it go to the 6th ring, baby? What you do?
I know we're gonna have to figure that one out, but you know what? That's a good problem to have. Okay?
I still don't know what the 6th ring even means, so we'll just go with it. But does that mean we're trying to get the 6th? We counting the Ohio State game? I don't even know. So
yeah, we'll just go with it. It's a good problem to have.
We can go with it. Now when he wins like 2 or 3 in a row, we're gonna get rid of the issues.
Yeah, no kidding.
I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. Have fun. Merry Christmas. Be safe out there, man.
Yeah, happy hunting, man. Be safe.
Bye now.
From one G to another.
Yep. But all right, yeah.
Oh, well, by the way, while you bring in Dave there, real quick, Charles Gilbert with the $5 dono. Appreciate it, man. I have a question. Are NIL deals signed for 1 year or for 2 or 3 years? Man, that's a good question. I think that it all depends on who
it's a contract.
Is. Yeah,
I think it's a year-to-year deal.
I think it is, right? Because you see guys like TVD and some others are re-upping their deals with Johnny Ruiz and some other brands. So it's a good question though, but I think it is a year.
Well, it's a contract. They can sign whatever they want.
It can go for multiple.
It generally doesn't make sense to do it more than 1 year.
Right.
TBD was someone that potentially could have gone pro. So what would he be doing an NIL deal? So
exactly,
his definitely would have been 1 year. But no, they can stretch it out.
The scholarships are on 1 year deals.
So. I know, yeah. So everything can go away in a year. Well, theoretically, the NIL is not to go to a specific school. So.
Oh, okay. So you can carry it over to the next one.
Yeah, so you can take it with you when your scholarship gets through.
All right.
Oh, just one other thing real quick before. So I see some questions coming in the chat about stuff in the portal and all. We are going to talk portal tonight, but later. So,
yep.
Because right now we got our recruiting people like Dave on. So
and now we got Mr. Dave Franklin, baby, from the Miami Flow Media channel. What's going on, Dave?
What is happening, fellas?
You listen, you sound like you've been up since 4:00 in the morning.
Bro, somebody called me a while ago, answered the phone about an hour. They said, man, you sound exhausted. I said, that's because I'm exhausted. It's a good kind of, exhausted. But, yeah, I've been going since about 4:30, and it's been nonstop, But it's a good day. It's kind of like Christmas, at the end of the day you're exhausted, but it was a good day. So
absolutely, man.
No worries, man. No complaints.
But we appreciate you coming on, man. We won't take up much of your time. But look, listen, it's hard to do these shows especially on early signing day, without bringing in the guys that really, really kind of dive into this, full force, 100% all the time, and really know what's going on, kind of have the pulse of recruiting and transfer portal news and everything that's out there. Kind of give me your ideas on what you think. 5-7 record, and Mario's out there kicking ass and taking names, right? Shoving people in lockers. Okay. It's unprecedented, right? What he's doing. But it's exciting. And now, look, I know a lot of fans are going to think, man, we didn't get this guy. We didn't get that guy. Talk to me about what has Mario done with this 2023 class that kind of makes you go, "Holy crap!" Right? And what can you see kind of down the road for Mario from a recruiting perspective?
Yeah, if you've got to look too hard to find something to be excited about, I don't know, you need something else to do because this ain't it. 5-7, right? And then we're sitting here in the top 5 right now. Some smoke going around about this guy didn't sign and that thing, and now he's going to sign. I don't know. I just know right now we're top 5, and I'm going to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? This is a good day. Go back and look at the past years, where recruiting has been, where we were, if we hit top 12, man, we're good, right? I love the thing about folks say, if he's recruiting this way after 5-7, wait to see what he does when we're winning. Fellas, this is just what he does. Winning, losing, this is Mario's DNA. He recruits. This is what he does. And yeah, does winning help? Sure it does. How much better do you want this thing to be, bro? We're sitting at number 4 right now.
I don't think it could get much better even if you win 12 games, right?
If it gets better than this, I'm all in. The only thing that would be better that we got the wins to celebrate as well. You know what I'm saying? So, right. Look, I know it's got to transpire to the field. You got to develop these guys. I understand all that, but sitting here right now, after the season we had, there's something to be excited about. And you look at the trenches. I like the trenches, and that's where it starts right now. Are you serious? We've got 2 of the top 3. I say 2 of the top 2 offensive tackles in the country, not to mention the number 1 offensive lineman in the portal. That's not even talking about the rest of the class. I don't know. Like I said, if you're digging around for some positivity today, you need to go watch dog shows or something, because this just ain't it.
Any questions here for Dave? Ish, you got anything for Dave?
Yeah, just some of the same stuff we probably cover with Coach Hayes. Just so, who's the guy you think in this class can most impact the upcoming year?
I think the easy answer there probably is one of the linemen that we talked about, because lots of times first year freshmen, you've got the talent and the skill and all that, but your body type and physical, development, stuff like that, is an issue. But I don't look at these guys and think, man, he needs to develop more physically. So I think one of those guys, if not both, could come in a position of need. There's not a whole lot of competition there to scare them away. But I think if you get a little deeper into that, I think somewhere, obviously Reuben Bain and guys like that. But if you look in kind of just the linebacker group as a core, I think you could see somebody there. Again, it's not a position where there's a whole lot there holding them back. So, I think somebody from there could kind of make a name for themselves, kind of get on the field. And maybe I love, and I know I keep saying this, anybody watches me, just close your ears because you're going to hear it again. I love Wesley's development last year, the way he was brought along slow, bit by bit. You saw more and more and more. And then at the end, guess what? He's your guy, right? It would have been real easy to throw him in last year, kind of the safety valve. Hey, we need him now, but they didn't do that. Took their bumps and bruises. I would love to see somebody in this linebacker core kind of develop that way. And then towards the end of the year, they're really making an impact. So I think you could see something there.
Absolutely. I hear. Blue, what you got for Dave?
Hey, Dave, thanks. Sorry I couldn't make it this morning, but I'm feeling better, though.
Hey, that's all that counts, my friend. See, the day gets better, doesn't
it? Hey, we talked about Brown, winning the battle against Alabama in a position that obviously can never have enough quality defensive backs, especially like him. What do you think his ceiling is? Because having watched him a couple of times live, especially last weekend, and he's got the Carmoni McClain syndrome where you don't see enough of him because people don't throw on his side. That was McClain. That was a lot of things that people kind of said about McClain. Well, we didn't get a chance to see how physical he was because he was away from the ball. What about Brown, and what does he represent to this class?
Yeah, I think he's huge as far as the easy part, the legacy thing, you know what I'm saying, brother, dad, and all that stuff. And I think with a little smoke going around with Cormani, whatever happens there, I think Landon Brown kind of takes a little bit of that off. Hey, we got him. So as far as his ceiling and type of player he is, I think he's got a really good shot to come in, because again, it's just kind of everywhere you look, there's not a whole lot there to keep him off the field if he can develop. And he's already got the size, good size, good height, good weight. And I think I think he's a little bit more physical than what some people think. Not necessarily, you're a headhunter. He's not going to shy away from contact. I think he's a solid tackler. I think he's got that down. That sounds very simple, but obviously we know over the past few years that's something we've lacked in as well. So I think he's got all of the mechanics that you want to work with. You know what I'm saying? He's not a guy that's going to come in and you're going to have to just start rebuilding from the ground up to get him to the next level. I think he brings a lot of things in his tool bag that you can work with. So I think his size helps. And again, I think his tackling and his, he's not going to shy away from the physical side of it too. So I thought it was a huge pickup, to be honest with you.
Real quick before we've got a couple more questions for Dave. We actually got a question in the chat for Dave. Charles has another $5 dono from Charles Gilbert. We appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Just I guess piggybacking off of his last question, if a player signs a 2-year NIL and goes to transfer portal 1 year, does the player lose the other year? So I'll answer this really quick. There's always clauses in those contracts that allow you to get out, or they may transfer to the next place you go to. That's a question that we might have to bring on Johnny Ruiz or Darren Heitner to answer that question.
I can sort of answer. I can answer part of that. You can't explicitly tie the NIL to going to a school. That's
gotcha.
A violation. So in theory, they can't do anything, and it would travel with them. Now, unless they're idiots, these are technically marketing deals. They would have tied it to something locally. Right. And so you have to show up at all Canes and sign something like every other week or whatever it is. And that's like, all right, you're going to do that from like USC? No. So they would have structured it that way. But in theory, you cannot explicitly say the NIL deal is for you to attend the school. That is explicitly banned.
There you go.
Which is one of the reasons, by the way, Johnny Ruiz is so vocal about it. He's showing like, hey, I'm advertising my brands here. Right. He's actually, and everyone's like, why is he so out front about it? Because that's the actual purpose. And everyone knows what LifeBall is now.
Yep.
Everyone knows his businesses.
Yeah, he's doing it.
It's working.
Real quick, Dave, Bye Bosworth has a question for you in the chat. If you want to find it there. Yeah. So Dave, what can we do on receiver? I guess he's at the receiver position. We need more 6'3" receivers. Yeah. So this is an interesting one, right? Because the two guys that we have locked in are Ray and we've got Robbie, right? Bobby's the linebacker.
Yeah,
Robbie's the receiver.
Yes. Good high school.
Yeah. I bet it is. Robbie Washington and Ray Joseph, Nathaniel Joseph, are two not huge. Not obviously, Ray is kind of a smaller guy. And Robbie as well, not super big like his brother Bobby, but smaller type receivers. What can you expect from the Canes, moving forward? I mean, look, there's still time, right? You still have regular signing day in February. You've got some guys that the Canes are probably looking at right now, whether it's transfer portal or high school that haven't signed. What do you expect them to do as far as receiver?
Yeah, as far as like performance in that thing, I think you look at what you got right now, and I think Colby obviously showed signs last year. Isaiah Horton is a guy that I love, not just because he's from Tennessee, but a little bit because he's from Tennessee. But he's got that size. I think he's got the potential and that sort of thing to kind of get worked in. There's still some guys in the portal that I think that they're going to look at, but I agree with the statement. Yeah, we need some big body guys. I love the slot guys and the speedsters and all that. I love it, but I think you need a real fine mix of that. But I think there's a couple guys still left on the board. Like I said, this thing's going to go till tomorrow, and I think portal and things like that. But I think it doesn't matter. And I know everybody's tired of hearing me say this, but I keep getting asked, so I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care who's out here, who's back here, until the people up front are fixed. It don't freaking matter. It just doesn't. I don't care if the guy's 6'3" or 5'10". It just doesn't. And so I think once that problem goes away, this question is going to kind of go away. And I agree, we need those big bodies. I want to be physical, and Mario does. We know that. He wants to be physical. But I think we've got some guys on the roster now that could probably take that step if they're given the chance to do it. And then, like I said, I think probably portal, because I would like to see a wide receiver 6'3", 6'4" to come in game ready. Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, give me the recruits, and I know that's what we're talking about, but give me a guy at the portal that can come in right now and either grab a spot or push the guys that we've got. We need that. We need the competition to kind of elevate the dudes that we have here.
Like a Rambo.
Yeah,
like around.
yeah.
Perfect.
Rambo, give me, KJ Osborne when he came in and kind of took that leadership role. You know what I'm saying? Not just on the field, but kind of in the locker room presence, a guy like that. So I think that's kind of the direction that you look at. I see the name Thornton down there. Yeah, Thornton me all day long. I'm good with that. So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dave, let them know where they can find you, man. We'll get you on out. I know you need this. You need some rest, brother. I hear it.
I keep saying that, and then I keep getting on a call or a show or something. So I'm just going on fumes at this point. I'm kind of like Coach Hayes driving today. He was on my show this morning at like 11, and he was driving. I don't know where you're at, dude. He's got to be clear to the other side of the country if he's been driving all day long.
No, he was parked in Georgia now. So
I don't know what he's running from, but that man's on the run, I think. Sebastian Lane Thursday nights, 9:15. And then Miami Flow, we usually have a show every night through the week. Flow on Sundays, MiamiFlowMedia.com. We've got a whole list to break down the shows and the times. So that's where you can check me out.
Awesome. Hit me up again, Dave, and I'll come on.
I will. I'll hold you to it. I won't go away.
I know. All right, buddy. Thank
Dave,
you.
Appreciate it, man.
Dave.
Have a good,
Merry
holiday.
Man.
Thank you, Dave.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, folks.
All right, just straight up into
I mean, why waste time? Let's just bring on the man, the myth, the legend. Maxwell.
I'm just a myth.
You're just a myth. You're just a myth.
This is the first time I've seen the beard live. Man, look at that. That thing is glorious.
Yeah,
Fear the beard, baby. Fear the beard.
Yeah.
What's up, Short Stack? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm tired, man. I woke up at like 2 a.m, went back to sleep, woke up at like 5, and then I've been up all day, man.
Oh man, what a day!
That's what you do, man. That's what you do. That's why you're so successful.
You know, it was a long day, with a lot of trying to calm people down. So
Max, you're getting some love on the chat, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it clean.
No, man. Well, you know what? All right, let's start off with
actually real quick. Just we obviously think, but thanks for the donut,
yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. And then actually Gary, friend of the program. So
yeah, that makes sense.
And that's because he actually makes them go into the office and do things like they have to work for it. So that's the way you tie them in. You make them do stuff in person, and then they kind of have to stay.
Like run the paper shredder and stuff like that.
So. Some crazy guy here. We don't know who this is. He's got to be a new guy around town. Negus, some guy named Negus. I have no idea who he is, but has a question. Blue, shout out to Negus. What's up, dog? Blue, no matter what, I'm happy that you're still with us, man. Oh, everybody knows that's the goat right there, baby.
Thanks,
with that being said, the panel, who is the one recruit that you feel the recruiting sites missed on the most in terms of ratings and rankings? I'm just gonna say a name. Everybody can say a name. We don't have to kind of go on about it because and I will be here all day, I'm sure, with that. But I'm gonna go a little different, right? Because a lot of people are gonna say Ruben Bain. I'm not gonna say Ruben Bain. I'm gonna go Bobby Washington. I think that he's the kind of kid that maybe flew under the radar a little bit. And if you look at his tape, you see the way he played at Palmetto. That kid is one of the top linebackers in the country. I don't think anybody else can tell me otherwise. Just his aggressiveness, the way he plays, he's definitely a big time linebacker.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with Stafford because of the fact that I watched him play basketball. Kid has a 40-inch vert. He's extremely athletic. He's got long arms, and I think he flew. Beyond, because I think if schools like Alabama and Oklahoma and Ohio State would have discovered him when Miami did, so you got to give Miami props for really, really sticking with him. Sort of like Emory did, what Ponce did with Emory, because I know that a lot of schools wanted him towards the end because the kid put on a show towards the last 5 games of the season. So I'm going to stick with him. I think that's a kid that jumps in the picture really quick because he's so athletic and he's going to force his way onto the field.
Yep. DJ, who do you got? We could hear you if you were not on mute.
Yep. No, hold on. I just had an issue there, but I'm back now, and I'm going to say Jackson Carver.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. I like his ability to stretch the field, and I think he can be a big vertical weapon.
That's an interesting one. Max, who do you got?
there's like so many to pick from, but I got to go with Joshua Horton. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the pictures that have come out recently with him next to some of the other recruits. I mean, we're talking about a guy that he's a refrigerator with legs. I mean, that's just what he is, and
that can dunk, a refrigerator that can dunk.
Yeah, like he's unbelievable playing against elite competition there in Georgia. Really, really fast, really, really twitchy for a guy at his size. I think he's severely, severely underrated.
Vish, who do you got?
So I don't know if he's underrated, but I'll go with Chris Johnson. You can't coach that speed, and this team needs game breakers. I think he's going to blow games open, and that'll open up the whole defense. I don't think people realize how important it is to have that game breaking speed out of the backfield. We haven't had it in a long time. So that's I think he can be a game changer for the entire offense. All that grinded out stuff we do, it's a lot more palatable when he rips off a 50-yard run.
Ain't that the truth?
Then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, good thing we ran the ball, right? I mean, it's just a completely different perspective. So I think he has a chance to shift kind of the way we play.
Kane's 305 with the $4.99 dono has a question also. Great show as always. How are we going to keep these guys we have from leaving next year? Go Kane. So we won't. I don't want to spend too much time
Texas A&M.
Yeah, you got to win, number one, and number two. Look, guys are going to leave, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the business now. It doesn't matter if they get playing time. It doesn't matter if they don't. Sometimes they're just going to leave, right? For other opportunities, and that's just the name of the game right now. So at this point, I think that we got to focus on what we can do this year. We got to win football games. We know that Mario's going to keep recruiting the way he's recruiting, so I'm cool with that. But just win, man. Win and worry about that later. Forget about it. That's what I think. Another question. This is gonna go for Max.
Not really a question. Just Max has a fan club. We gotta pause here and let him bask in this.
Yeah, shout out to Caro. She knows no cafecito here. So
no, she doesn't. Caro is my dog. Cato's my dog. What's up, Cato? I got love for you, Cato. I appreciate you coming on with the dog. She's been my dog longer. All right, I win that one.
Can we not be the show with 5 dudes on here calling a woman a dog? Just can we not do that?
Listen, Cato even say it. Cato even say it. All right, you got to know Cato. Cato is the best. Sending love to her all the time. Yeah, she's awesome, man. Real quick, Jeff Lynn has a question for us. Larry doesn't seem to. Well, first he says Larry doesn't seem to be too high on Cormani. Character issues, perhaps. No matter what, it's a spectacular. So this is a question that I wanted to ask Max, anyways, right? Are you surprised? Is there anything that kind of threw you off? And then I'll have Blue answer that question also, because I know he's got a good take on Cormani as well. But are you kind of thrown off by him not signing today? Is there smoke? Is there stuff that we should worry about, or should kind of King's fans say, yo, relax, chill out, let Mario handle his business?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone should be surprised with anything in recruiting. I think recruiting has kind of shown you that. I mean, we saw what Travis Hunter did last year. We've seen a guy flip from Notre Dame to Oregon today and then didn't give Oregon his NLI. And so now Oregon doesn't even know if he's sticking with that commitment. You've had
Peyton Bowen, right? Peyton Bowen.
Yeah, you've had Jurion Dickey, like, say he has an announcement at a certain time, post pictures of Oregon, and then says he has another announcement 3 hours later. Like, nothing surprises me in recruiting anymore, and it shouldn't surprise anybody. If Nick Saban wasn't recruiting Cormani still, he wouldn't be Nick Saban. I mean, these guys don't just quit because they didn't get the guy they wanted. They fight until the very, very end. So is there something to be worried about? I mean, sure, he didn't sign when we thought he was going to sign. But at the end of the day, I trust the coaching staff, and I think they're gonna seal the deal.
Amen to that. Blue, what's your take on Cormani? I mean, he's considered the the second highest recruit. Isn't that crazy? He's the second highest recruit on our board. He's a 5-star guy, the best player at his position based off of the rankings. What's your take on Cormani as a player all around and his contribution to the Kings when he signs with us?
Well, I've had an opportunity to see him probably at every stop, from practice to games to 7-on-7. I said early on, and I kind of got in trouble, so I got to watch my words now because I'm figuring now that a lot more people watch me than I thought because I got hit pretty good by some people who said that I thought he wasn't good, which is not true. I think he's an extremely good, a talented young man who plays this game extremely well. I just don't think that from a standpoint of the teams that Lakeland's played and the teams that Lake Gibson plays, they didn't test him. They were going away from him, so he really never got an opportunity to go against St. Thomas Aquinas or go against a Miami Central or go against. I mean, the toughest opponent they had was Kissimmee Osceola, and their best player was a running back. So I'm thinking, and I watched him last year. Different situation at Lake Gibson. He played a lot more aggressively, but that's what I'm saying. They haven't gone enough to him. So that's the one thing that I said I want to wait and see. I want to see when he gets here, as you say. I want to see what happens when although we don't have a major receiver yet, but sooner or later we will. And he's going to have to go against some of the top receivers in the nation, in the ACC and on Miami's schedule. So that was the only thing that I said. I haven't seen enough of him. I've seen him, but I haven't seen enough of him in action. And, watching him in 7-on-7, he got some stops, but he also, got torched quite a few right in front of my eyes. So, I don't put much credence in the 7-on-7 other than it's just, a way to keep in shape. But that's the only thing I said. I think that he's a great talent. Miami needs to sign him, and I'm sure they will. Like Max just said, what he's doing now is there's a lot of people still courting him. And for a young kid like that, I think it's exciting to get all that attention. And I'm sure there were a lot of things last night and over the weekend where it was, because when they got back from the state championship game, I'm sure a lot of people got in his ear and they go, wait a minute, you don't have to make your decision right now. You've got some time. Take a step back. If you think Miami's the deal, then you go there. If not, then look elsewhere. And it's the only reason that's happening now. I mean, and I got a chance to talk to him at the state championship game on Saturday, and really good man. His mother doesn't let him talk to too many people, unfortunately. I don't know why, but that's okay. He's going to get wherever he gets, especially if he gets here. There's enough discipline. There's enough people who are going to structure his life. So we'll see.
Yeah. Going to be interesting.
So don't construe that as I don't think he's good. That's not what that's all about.
So we can cut that right there.
Cut it right out.
Cut the don't construe that part out, and it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
New intro for the show.
Yeah, right. You should put it in. You should put it in the mashup.
I'm about to clear out some of these comments. A lot of people, saying what's up. We got Rasta in the chat. More love for Bobby Washington. Something I'm not going to share from I think one of Max's boys here. I'll skip right over that, and then I don't even know if I should share the WD-40 stuff, so we'll just keep it moving. Josh Livingston, thanks for the shout, and then we do have a question, so
yes.
We'll get to that.
Where is it? We are in so much need of anything worthwhile in the portal, or will Mario Cristobal move Bain and others inside? So, I was thinking about this, Max, and I'll throw it to you because we've got some guys that, we recruited Josh Horton, obviously. I don't want to say we didn't miss out on Adelaide, whatever his name is. We, he ended up going to Michigan State, so that was just a guy that we were obviously in the mix for. Is there anybody from the high school level or even in the transfer portal that is out there, right? Because obviously there's always guys that we might not know that the Canes are talking to or whatnot. At least it's not out in the public. But there's some guys that maybe you like that could still be an option for the Canes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that they need is not necessarily just a traditional pass rushing defensive tackle. They need more of the pluggers. We lost 3 of those guys this offseason: Jordan Miller, Daryl Jackson and Alan Hay, who all kind of fit that role. So I think that's what you're looking to replace. You've got good pass rushing defensive tackles between Thomas Gore, who they got today, between Leonard Taylor and Jared Harrison Hunt. So you kind of need those bigger guys like the Ahmad Motons of the world. So there's definitely some guys in the transfer portal out there that are solid. You pretty much just need some guys to eat space. That's what it is. So I don't know about high school. I know one of the guys they were trying to flip ended up signing where he was committed to. So, he's out of the equation, but they know that it needs to be addressed, and I'm sure they're going to do it.
You want to address the dono real quick before we have one more question for Max, and we'll get him out of here. Kane's 305 with the dono, $4.99 dono. Appreciate it, man. What do you guys think about the 247 Sports signing day 2022 winners and losers saying Miami is a loser? Well, first of all, they didn't say they're a loser yet. They put the question marks. It's just ridiculous. It's clickbait. But go ahead, Vish.
Yeah. So what you got to understand is we might not have won anything of note in 20 years. We still move the needle. So they're going to put something in there to draw attention. Right. That's why all the national shows talk about Miami on these things, and that's why they did it to get. I bet you all clicked on it and read it.
Yeah,
and that was the goal.
They did.
When a top 3 class after going 5-7 losers. Yeah. In case, by the way, like Jess says, if Cormani McClain doesn't sign, just to put a point on it, if Cormani McClain ends up going somewhere else, which we still don't think he will, we still think he'll be in Miami. If he does, this class is still fantastic. So it's borderline trolling. It's just to get you to click on the article, which everyone in Miami and in South Florida, which has like 7 million people in it, went and clicked. So they got their money out of it. Yeah. That's what it was. They don't actually believe that. No one does.
Max, you're speaking of winners and losers, who is the guy you are most excited about on this the signing class that could possibly come in and make an immediate impact?
Immediate impact? That's tough. I'm gonna go Ruben Bain just because I think he has the technique down already. Might have to put on a little bit of size, but from a technique perspective, he's very, very advanced for his age. And he was my can't miss recruit in this cycle, just like Wesley was last year. So to me, it's Ruben Bain.
That seems to be the running theme for a lot of people, which makes a lot of sense also. And then last but not least, your under the radar guy in this class that could potentially make some noise, whether it's gets just some significant playing time or whatnot.
Under the radar that can get significant playing time,
or that can just make an impact of some sort, right?
Well, one of the problems with this class is everyone's so highly rated. It's like the under the radar guy's like a 4-star ranked in the top 50. It's just like,
how about the unranked Aussie punter we just got? No,
there we go. Dylan Joyce. There we go. Shout out.
I'm gonna stick with the same guy. I think Joshua Horton has potential to get some snaps this year.
Yeah, that's a big one. Let him know, Max. We got the boss man backstage too, so you know how that is.
No, you can't have us on at the same time.
No way, that's chaos.
Miami Flow Max on Twitter. My show's on Tuesdays, the Maxed Out Show with starring A Black at 9:30 Eastern. So that's where you can find me.
I don't know if any of you stars are Yankees fans, so I don't know about that. But anyways, I digress. Max, we love you, brother. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Take care.
Have a happy New Year. Have a great holiday.
You got out of here quick, huh? He said, "Let me make room. Let me make room for the boss man."
Well, also, man, this California time is rough on signing it.
I tell you. By the way, before we bring on the boss man, we got listen, Karate Cherry, Coffee City, JT Field. You're in the wrong show, but listen, we appreciate all the the things that you're posting about the Bobcats and the Supersonics, and
it's definitely a bot. Or
you think so?
I don't think it is. The Supersonics, dude, come on, man.
I don't know, but somebody said something about the Panthers.
We did Bobcat and Supersonic, an NBA team. Bobcat could share Hornets courts.
They also said Blazers lose, Thunder, ha ha ha. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but whatever, man. We appreciate all the comments.
Thanks for stopping by.
They are like a sentient bot writing NBA teams, some of which don't exist anymore, into the chat.
It makes sense, right? Because this is an NBA channel for
Hey,
a lot of times.
we're changing that,
on
man.
the other side, yeah, on the
We're
other
changing
side.
that. I mean, look, it's a basketball channel, and
It's a
our basketball team is kicking ass. So
right,
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
think
There you go.
You want basketball?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. What
12-1,
basketball team in South Florida is actually propping up the city? It ain't the Heat.
It ain't the Heat, that's for sure.
So,
Speaking of propping up the city, let's bring them in.
The city himself.
The city. Nobody reps the city harder than this man right here.
What's up, peoples? How's everybody doing tonight?
Man? Hey, man, listen.
Hey, Flo.
I appreciate you coming on. I know you ain't feeling the best, so I won't keep you too long, brother. I appreciate it.
No, big deal. Today was a good day, though. I just been, I don't know, man. This thing has been kicking my butt, but today I feel like I'm getting back to myself. So sitting in the air conditioner, coming on, talking with you guys, not a big deal. Not a big deal.
It makes you feel a little better after what the Kings did today, right?
I don't understand how people can still be negative. I just don't even. I don't understand. Maybe I don't know. Like, what do you want? Like, what else do you want? I'm just being honest. Like, what else do you want?
Flo, if you watch our intro, wait, Vish. If you watch our intro, you will see exactly what is wrong with us, right, Vish? Because our intro says it right towards the end.
Yeah, I think I was yelling about how everyone was like treating Tyler Van Dyke like crap, and I said, "What is wrong with us?" And
that's exactly where it came from. Yep.
Yeah, Jazz says we're Miami Hurricanes fans. That's what's wrong with us. So it works.
Oh man! Shout out to Falcon for the dono real quick. 305. Great day today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good donation amount too. Solid.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Vish. Go ahead. My bad.
No, it's just it's been so long since we've been good. It's like we don't know how to be happy.
It's
like a car that's like transmission is stuck and you can't shift out of neutral. Like you can try, it won't happen.
No kidding, man. No kidding. Yeah. Flo, I'm gonna hit you with the heavy hitter right off the bat. Right, the first one's gonna be heavy, and then we'll kind of ease off. Okay?
Oh boy.
What's your take on what's going on with Mr. Lakeland over there? And I'm trying to word this. I'm trying to do a flow here. I'm trying to word this right. Okay. Do Canes fans need to relax?
I mean, this is
not only about him, right? I guess we can go broader and be like, can we just chill?
Look what we're doing. For everyone that's been covering recruiting, I think you'll agree with me. This is modern day recruiting now. Like this is not going to be weird every year from now. When you inject money, right? And it's so now there's easy access to these guys and their handlers. The one or two in your class are always going to get a little interesting. I really think that I agree with the consensus where I'm not really concerned. I think the relationship's going to matter. I think Miami did the best job. I don't want to go out on a limb and say I'm 100% think Cormani tomorrow is going to say Miami, but I really don't have a reason to not feel that, especially because who is on the job with Cormani? It's the most underrated guy in that building, which is DVD, and he's done an absolute solid job, and let's be honest. The rumors of Dion and all this. Listen, on, man. If you really are digging, you know that there's other stuff in play, and I think we'll be okay. Everything I'm hearing, I think we'll be okay. But I don't want to speak for the young man. I'll give him his moment tomorrow, and hopefully he stands by his word, and he's the cherry on top. He's the cherry on top of the class.
Absolutely. I before we get to some other questions, I got one more question. Then we'll kind of go around the clock here. I'm going to talk mostly about the transfer portal guys, right? Because I believe it or not, I'm just as excited about the transfer portal guys as the high school kids because we got some dudes, man. I'm talking about like people don't know, right? And obviously I don't watch a lot of tape, but just based off of production and based off of watching some clips here and there. Thomas Gore seems like that dude. Okay. Francisco Malgoa, brother of Francis Malgoa, seems like that dude that can come in and get some significant minutes here on this team. right? Who's another transfer portal guy that I'm drawing a blank on? Devontae Brown, right? Who's the brother of Damari Brown, who another big time. All these transfer portal guys. What does that tell you about what Mario is trying to do with this team as a whole? Because those are some really good names, and I think there's obviously some others out there that still haven't pulled the trigger that are going to, whether we know the names or not. I think that's big. Talk to me a little bit about how you feel about what the Kings have done in the transfer portal so far.
I'll start off with the first guy, Gore. At first it threw me off because if you know the theme, if you've noticed the theme with Mario and Zoe, it's bigger, stronger, faster, right? This guy's not a big D tackle. You know, when you go look at him, he's actually very, very undersized. Played in a small conference at the same time, right? So of course you got that little thing attached to your name where Zoe offered him. So you're like, all right, I don't know anything. Let me go watch the tape because I had never heard of him. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea who he was. Thomas Gore. I never knew. I didn't know anything about him. And then you watch the tape and you're like, like you go, duh. Like now I understand why they're at this guy. I see this guy honestly be more of a third down guy, a rotational guy. Again, that's just my take on it because of the size issue. I don't know if he's a first down guy. I don't think he's a first down guy personally, but I think he's going to wreak havoc. You see what he did when he does play a couple of the bigger schools. You know, his numbers speak for themselves, right? And Francisco, you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, he's like the linebacker size that we're looking for, right? 6'3" and just cock diesel as far as he's just a big dude, right? Just a big farmer, strong kind of guy. But he's got that motor, you know, it's probably that Samoan background helps him, in my opinion. I think that's what it is. But I was surprised with him more or less being able to cover, you know. A lot of times when those guys are that big, you can kind of exploit them in coverage a little bit. You know, very rare do you see one that's that big that can move like that. He was a very pleasant surprise for me because I thought he was a throw-in because of his brother. But
what's the first clip you see from him? Pick six.
Yeah, the pick six.
Pick six against Oregon, right? So that tells you everything.
It's just interesting. Like it was again, and not to sound dumb, but another pleasant surprise. Now Cohen from Bama, like
that's a man right there.
That was just, that's a home run. I mean, that's a home run. I mean, you get a guy, a proven guy at arguably the number one program in the nation that started the last 2 years there and never has given up a sack. Great size, right? Please give, and he has 2 more years of eligibility. So are you like that? That's like a Santa Claus came early for us, you know. And then, you know, Devontae is just a massive DB. You know, he's a big DB, rangy. I know his stats are what they are from what conference they played in and stuff like that. I look at him a little different than most people look at him. I'm not sure he's going to start here. I look at him more as a rotational piece at the end of the day. But you can't have enough guys with that size and that speed that has that many snaps at the you know, Division I level, especially at a position where you're depleted now from experience standpoint, right? Cornerback, we are going to be depleted from an experience standpoint. So get me an experienced guy that's solid. To me, and I know this is not popular to say, I thought he was a throw-in for Damari. And no one's going to change my mind on that. Like I'm stubborn on that. I'm pounding the table. Like there was too many guys in the portal that I thought were better that Miami didn't really go after. They went after him. So I'm thinking, all right, I see what they're doing. They're getting a piece, you know, a veteran to come in there and solidify that room a little bit from the standpoint of getting the snaps. But we got to make sure we get his brother.
And we did, right? Yep.
That's just my opinion because his brother is world class. I would love to hear what Blue's got to say. I think his brother has a chance to be special.
Well, I think here's the thing, and I do want to get Blue's perspective on Damari Brown because I think that one, it wasn't a surprise, right? It was just like it was nice, man, to get a guy like that of that caliber come in here. And I'm with you, Flo. I'm not gonna go as far as saying he was a throw-in, but right. I see it. I understand. I mean, yeah, he was a throw-in, right? But what's great about it is from a leadership and from an experience standpoint, I don't care what anybody says.
I agree.
That goes a long way when it comes to teams like this that don't have experience or leadership and that specific position.
Yep.
You need a guy like that, whether he gets 10 snaps or 100, like in a game. He's the kind of guy that's going to come in. He may make you a badass play, one badass play, cause a fumble or something, and not see the field,
Jazz.
for the next 2 quarters.
Jazz, look,
but that's what you need.
I think the transfer portal should be used for 2 different things: an impact guy and a glue guy, right? A guy that can come in and just kind of be like that rotational glue guy, but is just as valuable as if a guy that's starting, And I think Devontae has a chance to be that. For me, I think he's a glue guy. Like, he'll push to start, but he'll get as many snaps as some of the starters, But he's a vet. He's got those snaps, and he's huge. He's a big corner. Like, he's a big corner. That's my take. I think I might have kind of diminished him a little bit, but to me, the value doesn't diminish when I say glue guy. It's the same as an impact guy.
Blue, what's your take on the whole, the Brown brothers coming in and DeMar? Obviously, DeMar is a special guy. Devontae coming in from was UCF, and just that whole family and that position as a whole, the defensive back position.
I remember when Devontae came out, everybody thought, pushing him towards Miami because his dad and because of, the bloodlines there. Good kid, big guy. I kind of agree with Flo, in the fact that is he a marquee guy right now? No. But could he be, and people seem to, they always probably fix themselves on, like every team has any successful team will have players at positions that fit into the positions. I mean, I talk about HB Blades when he played here or in the NFL. Probably not the quickest guy from going tackle to tackle, but when you funneled in the plays towards him, one of the sure tacklers. And I think that Brown probably fits that role, as he's not going to be able to be a solo guy. He's going to need help. And you look at Alabama, the same thing happened to them, where all those pieces fit in together. And I think certainly he's going to come from an experience factor, from somebody who's mature. He cuts through all that, beginning of college stuff. So yeah, from his standpoint. Now his brother's a different guy. And here's a guy, and we just got done talking about McClain, and I'm not going to bash him, but unlike McClain, Brown has played against the elite of elite. Okay, he's already had an opportunity, whether it be 7-on-7 or this year having to go against Smith and having to go against Trader and having to go against guys like that, and working with undoubtedly the best receiver coming out of this class, no matter what anybody will tell me, in Brandon Ennis. So when you have an opportunity to work against him, play against the schedule like they did, I mean, this is a guy that's proven himself over and over and over again. And he was the one that had to make a choice in the Chaminade game, whether to take to play against Josiah, whether to go against Jeremiah Smith or Edwin, who signed with Florida State. So he's a guy that comes in here, and he's a 3-and-C. He really is. I mean, and that's just a fact, and that's what you want. You want to be able to get kids that are that elite. And no, he's a special kid, special family. And but I did want to say that the fact that he's played such a in his career, because that's the one thing about American Heritage or schools like that, they don't duck anybody. So that affords them to play against some of the top competition. And they went against Gibbons twice, and they went up against, Bowles, who had a really, really good team, and guys where he was tested throughout the year, and he just kept coming up. And I had a opportunity over the last 5 weeks to see him 3 times, plus the Gibbons game, and he'll shut you down. He will shut you down because he's smart. He watches a lot of film. I mean, he's one of those guys that, after a play could easily look over at a opposing coach and said, "Hey, coach, I watch film, because he anticipates extremely well. He knows what other teams do. And that's Mike Smith too. Mike is, the old school guy like a Pat Surtain, who has been at the pro level. So that's what you do as a professional football player. Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're watching film and you're breaking down your opponent and you're looking at, instead of in there busting your head and practicing every day, they lighten up on the practice, but heavy up on watching film. And that's something that through his lineage, he's learned to do. And you can't tell me, just, being a former baseball player and charting pitches, to understand what a team you're going to be facing the next day, what their weaknesses, what their strengths are, what their tendencies are. And that's a kid right there brings in that. And it's tough. It's tough to get a kid like that who's 18 years old and is bringing that into this new position of his. And, we kind of talk about some of the guys, and I think we brought it up, in the past, who gets on the field first, and, from Bain. But don't be surprised if he pushes for playing time, just because of the way he approaches the game, his physicality, and he's been around the game for a while.
Yep. Facts. Preach, Blue. Preach, baby. Vish, I know you got something there. You got a question.
Yeah, this was from earlier, asked in the chat.
Is that for
the group? For the
okay.
group, yeah.
If you had to pick, what is your number one portal choice? One on offense and one on defense.
Maybe just pick a side and go.
Flag always coming on strong. He knows.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Flag always knows what's up too. Flag bothers the hell out of us in the Discord, but
I would say on offense, it's going to be that wide receiver DeBose, and I know Miami's working on him.
Why you take my guy?
I thought it was my bad.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I know Miami's is working hard on that, and that would be a big time get. This guy comes in that room immediately, and it's gonna make that room better. And there's a D tackle named, I think his name is Colin Mobley. He's out of Maryland. He's about 6'4", 300. He was at USC, and he's under the radar a little bit. I would just keep an eye on that, and it's a position that we are having to address in the portal for sure.
Oh yeah.
I would just, little birdie talk, like I would just keep an eye on that name. Might be someone that Miami's interested in.
I like those names. I know you like this name too, Flo. On offense, I like Kavasier Smoke. I think we need another running back. Again, we're talking about.
We need a player with that name anyway.
I know,
regardless of the position.
No kidding, for real. But just from another leadership and an experience standpoint, right? Smoke has been around for a little bit. I know he's had some injury issues, but he's a damn good running back also. So right now you've got a Trevante Citizen coming off an injury. You've got Chaney coming off an injury. And they might be 100% healthy, but you still got them coming off an injury, right? So the only proven commodity that you have is Henry Parrish. And now you're bringing in a stud in Mark Fletcher and Chris Johnson. But Chris Johnson, to me, is kind of like that Swiss Army knife kind of guy again. So I think you need another guy, tough, strong running back that can make some plays, that's talented, but comes from a leadership and an experience standpoint again in that backfield. I like Kavasier Smoke on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I think that as much as I like what we've done with the linebackers, I think maybe one more linebacker in the portal. And do I have a name? Geez, that's tough because I really don't, honestly. I don't have a name, but I think a linebacker is a position for me. I think that's the guy. I don't know, Blue, if you have any thoughts on who you would like. If you have a name.
Well, you guys still took one of the guys that I was going to talk about. The Smoke kid is really good. Yeah. I mean, he's a different level. And just keep in mind that last year, and I think that Vish brought this up at the running game, so proving that you can never have too many running backs. We were down to one guy and one walk-on. Out of all those guys that you started with the season with, and we're going to have this and we're going to have that, you only had one guy at the end of the year that was a true scholarship player. So, yeah, no, I agree. I think we got to I mean, in your assessment of Chris Johnson's 100%. I think he becomes more of a Lamar Miller or a Duke Johnson, because what happens is you get him on a wheel route against a linebacker or a safety and lights out, and that's what Lamar did. If you remember Lamar Miller, he was a really good line from scrimmage runner, and so was Duke Johnson, but they were more valuable as pass catchers because they presented a lot of problems. Because remember this, when they did catch the ball, they were running backs. They weren't receivers, so they had instincts, especially when they were coming up on players. They could truck you or juke you. And yeah, I think that could, and especially with Chris Johnson's speed. I mean, he gets out quick, and he's going to be very special. No, this is I agree. I mean, if you could bring in a running back out of the portal, you do it. And as I understand, just talking to some of the coaches, at Miami, this is now a portal thing. I mean, they're monitoring the portal, and I think that, believe it or not, I think these kids in the portal are seeing what Miami's doing with the younger kids, and they probably believe that they could come in here, jump ahead of those guys while being mentors at the same time. And I think that's important, because when you talk about Cohen, I mean, here's a guy, I mean, come on. I mean, day one, I mean, he just give him his uniform now and put him in that starting lineup, because he's got that experience. And I think that's where the portal comes in. And I think, Vish, you and I talked about this probably during the beginning of the season, that I felt that this would be the most active portal of all, because of the fact that there's a lot of these kids who are coming out, Flo, and they want to get their slice of the pie that they missed out on. They're seeing these kids coming out of high school and getting these 6-figure deals, and they're thinking, well, wait a minute. I've taken snaps. I've made an impression, and I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see Miami, because although there's a trillion kids in the portal, there's a select few that could turn a program around.
So, real quick, Jeff, it's Cavassier Smoke is who I said. You're asking the full name of the running back. Flo, I know want to get you out of here. Two things, by the way. First of all, Austin, speaking of transfer portal, Austin Reed just threw an absolute dime for a touchdown in the Western Kentucky. They're playing South Alabama in the, I don't know what you call it, bowl game. But
one of the million bowls.
He obviously entered his name in the transfer portal and then went back, right? And he just threw an absolute dime for a touchdown. So last question, so I can get you out of here, Flo. Do you expect Miami to, aside Cormani McClain aside, do you expect him to do anything else tomorrow, either from a high school or the transfer portal standpoint? Is there anybody out there that could possibly, and we don't have to name names or anything like that, but do you expect him to do anything, or is there an idea that Miami might still have a couple more bullets left in the magazine?
Oh, there's bullets. There's definitely you notice a few guys didn't sign today.
Yep.
I would monitor. I mean, the one thing you don't want to give Mario, he's like Saban. You don't want to give him more time. That's a mistake if you give that man more time. I mean, I think there's a very pretty good a possibility that there might be another signee, high school signee. And I really believe there'll be at least 2 before February, for the second one. But in the next couple of days, not counting Cormani, I would feel good with saying one other person.
Cool. I know there's still a lot of work to be done, and from a transfer portal perspective too, they're definitely dotting their I's and crossing their T's. So excited about that. He doesn't want the smoke, David. Flo, we appreciate it, man. Obviously they know where you can find you. Everybody knows where they can find you, but let them know anyways.
We're just the Miami Flow channel. We have a bunch of shows on there. We're the only people that all the donos we get, we turn them around into NIL deals to help the players legally. We're registered with the school. We're doing everything right. Just support us, because what we do supports the team. Appreciate you guys for having me on, man. You guys I love watching you guys. Thank you so much.
Back at you, man. I enjoyed being on your show the other night. It was a lot of fun.
We had like 900 people watching that show live. That thing was crazy.
Well, what's funny, Flo? I had Coach Hayes on early, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Coach Hayes and Blue, y'all need to chill out. I am not trying to have that on this. We need to
It
get
was
through
awesome.
this, okay? Because if not, they can go on for days.
It was. I remember just looking up and going.
It was awesome. It was
903 people live. I'm like, what is? Are we giving money away?
Did
like,
you
what
not,
is going
did you
on
not
right
get
now?
my text? Did you not get my text?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is happening right now? We're all famous.
Like, this
nah,
is
I'm just
popping
kidding.
off.
Yeah, man. Nah, thank you guys for having me on, man. I really appreciate you guys.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
Christmas.
Feel better.
too,
Merry
guys.
Christmas, brother.
Yeah,
Feel
take
better,
care.
Blue. Take care.
Oh man, those guys are. By the way, David and Negus are having a war on the comments in the chat.
I see it.
I love it.
I see it. It's not going to creep over. Which I'm trying to.
Shout out to David and Negus.
Hey man,
People
are actually donating money. It's not the time to be demonetized. So
no,
keep it over the
absolutely.
chat. And
Absolutely.
not move it over. But.
Even Terry says can't take you guys anywhere. I love these guys, man. I love these guys. Oh man. Can go 305 hours straight. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Falcon? It was fun. It was fun to see you guys just reminiscing and Flo just sitting here like that, like what are these guys talking about? This is incredible. That was really cool. Blue, I know you got to get off in about 5 minutes, man. So I wanted to get your take again on the overall class, right? This is a huge class for Mario. It was a huge class for Miami. Top 5 in the country right now. When Cormani signs tomorrow, now you're talking about the top 3 signing class in the country, and there's still some more guys out there that could possibly pull the trigger within, either tomorrow or by February. So, talk to me a little bit about, just give me your take on how you feel about this class, and are you excited for what some of these players are going to do at the next level here?
The key, guys, and we've said this all along, the reason why the Clemsons and the Georgias and the Ohio States and the Alabama have been successful is they could lose key guys and then replace them. And that's been Miami's probably mantra for 20 years, that they'll get a Taylor or they'll get a top flight running back, but that's all they have. And in this class, I thought it proved that you could get guys like a Mawagoa, like a Okunlola, guys like a Bain, Jaden Wayne, guys like that, and Malik Bryan, and on and on and on, and Riley Williams, who I think people are taking for granted because he's the type of kid that would end up at Iowa and then be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. Guys like Robert Stafford, who are like, under the radar type of guys. And then we know our local kids like Nathaniel Joseph and Mark Fletcher, who are really good. But we also understand that kids like Raul Aguirre, who is going to be an impact player. Antoine Jackson, who is pretty much an unexpected guy because he was supposed to be in the next class. Kids like that, kids like Chris Johnson, who a lot of people back in the spring really didn't know a lot about because of the fact that he wasn't on the radar yet, but because of his amazing speed and the size of a Joshua Horton at 290 pounds and 6'4", 6'5", a kid like Tommy Kinsler, who's I sat down with last year.
He's someone they don't talk about enough, right? He's a big dude, man.
Yeah, he is a big dude, and he's a smart kid, and he's coming out of a program at Ocala Trinity with John Brantley, who's a really, really good coach and knows the game and used to play at University of Florida. And I mean, and then you look at I believe I don't know who mentioned about Jackson Carver, but that's a guy right there that's kind of an unknown guy, 6'6", has great size and 220 pounds. And then we talk about kids like Antonio Tripp that a lot of people didn't talk much about. The Pulliam kid, who I think is going to be amazing at a position. Yeah, at a position that Miami needs. I mean, that's what happened. You look at a Caleb Spencer, who I had a pleasure of watching in the opening game of the season. His Life Christian team played in South Florida, and really good kid. Kind of he's like, you talk about a Swiss Army knife. He can play a number of positions, and and then a guy who's unproven, but somebody who has the athletic ability, and Frankie Tenelau. He hasn't played much American football, but he's a competitor. And that's what I'm looking at. I mean, the opportunity to get a Carmoni McLean, if you could bring him in there, you only add to what you have. And then the Thomas Gore kid, if you slap in his film, I mean, the kid maybe 5'11", 265, 270 pounds, but I'll tell you what, He plays the game. So in essence, what you have, guys, in this class are more than potential kids. You have guys that have proven it in the last go around. You have guys that have been evaluated to the T by people who recruit and know how to recruit. I think this class, you know what, top 3 class. What else? And I agree with our guests. How can you fathom that you could have a top 3 class when Eastern Michigan is in a bowl game and you're not? And that's the one thing that I look at. You're recruiting for the future, and you're recruiting to a coach who's been there, done that, and a coaching staff. And to do your research and look at where Charlie's been and how many times that Charlie Strong has been a head coach and who he's coached at Louisville and Texas and USF, and then do your homework with a Gaddis or anybody, a Dye, any of the coaches that they have, and Mirabel, who's probably cultivated more offensive linemen than many will in an entire career. I think that's what Miami sold. They sold the future. They sold what they have on board right now, and I can't say enough about this class. It's I'm proud of what Mario Cristobal and this. They came in. I think everybody kind of was gun shy because of all the promises that were made in the past by Manny and everybody who's come before him, and never really living up to him. I think that I think Hurricane fans, even though they still have that, it's great, but let's win on the field type of attitude, you can't help but not be extremely, that you can't even sleep. It's like Christmas morning. I mean, with the anticipation of what's going to be the next day, and you can't wait to spring where some of these guys will get on campus. You can't wait till early summer when the rest of them come in and see what you've got, when everything is for real and it's not just on tape and it's not that some combine, but you're getting an opportunity to see the elite of the elite. These aren't just middle of the road players. These are players. You look at who some of these guys were recruited by, and you step back. I mean, all the way down to Brown, who Nick Saban wanted really bad because of the type of player is, because of, where he came from and the Pat Surtain, his dad. So yeah, this is an A+. There's no other way to look at it, with or without Cormani. And I think he's going to come to his senses and be part of this class, but with or without him, you got an A+. You can't get any higher.
I agree. Nothing that you said does not make any sense. It's great. I love it. Blue, I know you got to get out of here, man.
Yeah, I got to do another show, but I appreciate you guys. I mean, this is great. I can't wait till next Monday to talk again and wrap this thing, wrap up this class as we look again towards the second national signing day.
There's another signing day. So
yeah. I mean, even though I would much rather it be one. They were talking about that. I was watching a show today, and they were talking about just maybe going back to having that one in February because there's so much involved. A lot of these kids come off of their season a week ago, and we got to make that decision now. Yep. And I think things would change if you go back to the old way. But you know what? I'm not the one that sets the rules, but I appreciate you guys. Have a good Christmas. I can't wait. Are we on next Monday, or are we going to go again Monday?
It's the day after Christmas, so we might. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Depends on what the Canes do.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, man. Thank you.
All right, Blue.
Take care, Blue.
All right.
I know we missed the dono also from Falcon.
We missed a couple actually. I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I flashed the other one up there previous. He's on 3 now, so he's done $9.15 total.
Appreciate you,
Falcon ERX. Appreciate that. Jeff Lynn says Kavasi Smoke running back and Grant DeBose wide receiver on offense will be a nice addition. Nice pick, Jackson. Yeah, I love those two guys. I love Grant DeBose. Flo definitely took my guy. He's a wide receiver out of Charlotte. Big kid, big strong kid. Look at his tape, DJ. You might have seen his tape already. I'm not sure, but that kid is big. He's strong. He's fast. We're talking about a guy that's like jacked up or like he's ready to go. He can come in and be a day one starter.
If you were to build a receiver, like that's the type of receiver that you want.
Absolutely, 100%.
Here's one for the someone to give a quick rundown.
It's true. It's true, right? We haven't spoken a lot about Emory Williams, who might be the most underrated player on this in this recruiting class, right? Blue talks about it all the time. How he saw him at a camp in Tallahassee or somewhere up there, close to that other school up there, and he was a no name guy, and he was slinging the ball around. He was dominating that camp. And he's like, who is this kid? And that's where Emery Wilson kind of got his start. Then went to the Elite 11 and dominated there. Finally started getting some recognition, but nothing like what some of these other guys are getting. And to be quite frankly, if you look at the tape, you look at his play, he plays against some half decent schools, some not so great. But he is an absolute stud as a quarterback. And I know we haven't spoken a lot about him, but is he going to come in and compete with Jakari Brown? Once TVD is out of here, I think so. I think he could definitely come in and do some damage.
You talk about a guy that the recruiting services missed out on. I think Emery Williams is a perfect candidate for that.
Good point. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that he's being brought in to compete with Brown.
And
and
wait until and if we win a couple games, man, wait until you see what they do next year at quarterback. That's going to be crazy. And I know a lot of people keep talking about, and we're not going to talk about it because we're not going to talk about something that hasn't happened or it's not going to happen or we don't know about, coaching situations. Though, if we had a different OC, this, that, and the other, that's a crock of crap, if you ask me. If you win, you're going to get some of the top guys. And look, you're getting some of the top guys without winning. So go figure, man. It's just going to be it's going to be wild what they're going to do in 2024. But how do you guys feel? Because we obviously asked all the guests, right? How you guys feel about it? There's Karate Sherry again with the Cavaliers beating the Bucks right now, baby. Everybody needs to know. That's an update, NBA update.
I don't even know what I'm like. Should I block this or what's happening here?
Let it ride. Yeah, let it ride, baby. Yes, Tony. By the way, Blue is the GOAT for sure. The goal is to stock talent 4 and 5 deep. You mentioned Sinclair. You're right on the money, brother. You're right on the money. Roderick Berry says Emery will be our modern Ken Dorsey. Yeah, I just think he's got an even better arm than Dorsey does. But that's what they're going for. That's what they're trying to get. And whether it's Josh Gaddis, whether it's somebody else, this offense is going to be built around what, Vish?
The lines.
That's it. That's what it's all about. And we know this, right? Me and Vish talk about it all the time. Like we say, look at what Michigan's doing. That's exactly what Mario wants to do. Look at what whatever team is dominating the line. That's exactly what
it's Georgia.
That's what it is. It's
Georgia
not about
too.
It's not about throwing the 50-yard bomb. We're like, oh yeah, anybody can do that. But what they're doing in the trenches.
And actually, you can see even though they're obviously in the playoffs, so great for them. You saw Ohio State didn't have those dogs up front against Michigan, and they got pushed around. Like there is a difference between even being an elite team and having the line play. Alabama usually has the line play. They struggle a little bit this year. Georgia's got the line play. Michigan's got the line play. There's a difference because when those games get tough and you can just shove the other guys out of the way, that wins you those tough games where the quarterback might not be throwing, the defense is struggling. All right, we'll just go on a 10-play drive and run it down your throat, get this touchdown here, and everything's going to settle down. Like you need that. You have those, and no matter how good you are, you have those moments. Unfortunately for us, those moments were every game this year, so it wasn't great. But as we progress and we start winning more and we get into these big games, if you can lean on your lines, it makes the rest of the game easy.
Shows you how important it really is. 904 Hurricane has a question for us. If you want to put it up there, Vish. I missed some of the conversation. I heard you guys mention wanting another linebacker. What about the DTs? Did you guys talk about that need or any possibilities at that position? Yes, good question. We did talk about that. You probably just missed it, but we were talking about defensive tackles. We mentioned Thomas Gore, but we also mentioned that is still a position that that Miami is. Josh Horton is obviously a big name at that position, defensive tackle. Big kid, 6'5", 295 pounds already. Athletic as all hell, because if you've seen a video of him dunking on someone, he completely just posterized a kid. And that's a big boy going up and throwing the ball down like that. He's very athletic. He's probably kind of like in the Emery Williams fold, right? A 3-star guy. I think he finally got his 4-star. I'm not even 100% sure about that, but but that's the guy that can come in and probably make an immediate impact at defensive tackle. They still do need to probably bring another guy or two at that position because they do definitely need the depth there. Thomas Gore is a kid that's going to provide depth, and like Flo mentioned, he's probably not going to be an every down kind of tackle, but he's a kid that can come in and contribute. And then
Flo mentioned Colin Mobley, the kid out of USC.
Colin Mobley, there you go.
Portal as someone to watch as well.
Right.
But yeah, no, D-line, if you look at our players that went into the portal, disproportionately defensive, like by 3 or 4 to 1 margin.
Right.
And then also disproportionately defensive line. We lost a lot of defensive linemen. Now some of them, frankly, weren't playing, and but I think the one that, it's personal issues that had nothing to do with us, but losing Daryl Jackson, that's a big hole in the middle of the defensive line from someone that was really productive. So yeah, they'll be looking to address that because Horton, he's the future there. Don't know if you want him starting in the first game next year, right? You want to I think he's going to rotate in. I think he's going to play.
He will
this year, but you don't necessarily want him starting day one. So they're probably looking, going to continue.
Right.
Like you said, Gore is there, but they're probably going to continue to try and just build some depth in there because that's really Jackson is definitely the biggest loss for us in the portal period. But also lost some depth behind him, so it's just a light on numbers there. So
yeah,
they'll definitely be looking in the portal there.
JAA, I'm hearing a rumor that Gaddis is going. Have you all heard anything? No, we have not, and we won't speculate on that. So that's that for that.
I'll just say one of the reasons where I'm not going to echo what Jess is. We're not going to just, we don't rumor monger over here. Not that we know anything, but
we don't, honestly.
But one of the things, and actually I was talking on Twitter with some people about this the other day, it's going to be Mario's offense. That's what we're running now. That's what we're going to run next year. So that's why I'm kind of like, it's not like there's going to be a big style change if Gaddis goes. Now, we could very well run a similar style with more effective play calling, which might be what ends up, if they make a move, what we end up going for. But they're not going to go to some kind of different style of play. And that's why you can see who they're recruiting. They're going for the big boys. As John said earlier.
And they still got some of the guys that could break plays open, like your Chris Johnsons. And,
oh, no, you need both.
Rays,
you need both. But just what you said earlier, win the play inside first. Play inside out. Dave talked about it. You got to win inside out.
They're going to break your will, and then they're going to throw. They're going to throw it for 300 yards, and you're not going to even see it coming. What the hell? TVD just went for 350. You didn't even realize it, or whoever it is that's quarterback.
And so I understand the frustration last year, and a lot of people say, "Well, why don't they play a different style to basically work around having the offensive line not be able to move people?" That's not what they're going to do. They're going to fix the offensive line instead.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. They're not going to put an offense in that's like, let's get the ball out quick on every play because we can't block.
Right.
That's not what they're going to do, and they don't want to teach that offense to temporarily be a little bit better. So, to me, if he goes,
might they incorporate some more, not flashiness, but some more running gun type of stuff? Sure, they will. Of course.
Well, you can do that when you get so this is the problem, right? When you don't get the run game going, all that stuff is less effective.
Yeah, of course.
Once you
good defenses are going to pick up on it right.
Yeah, once you force people to play the run, then all the passing game opens up too.
Right.
They're not going to be, it's not going to be let's win games 10-7. It's going to be let's beat the crap out of you.
That's not how Michigan's winning, right?
Yeah,
it's 45-20.
Yeah, it's beat the crap out of you physically, just dominate the game. And so if it's Gaddis or anyone else, I don't think we're going to see anything dramatically different from a style. And one of the things, I love this class. It's awesome. Obviously, anyone can see that. There's an intentionality about it. Absolutely. We are bringing big physical,
and it's different guys. Right?
Yeah, it's exactly
different guys that are coming in.
Exactly. So while we all watched what happened on the field last year, and are like, you got to work around this. You got to work around. Mario looks at it as like, no, this works if I get the right guys in here, and he's gotten the right guys.
Yep.
Now someone said earlier to scroll down the chat now at this point, but we got stat classes together. But this is a big step in the right direction.
Right. Oh man.
A couple other questions here. What's up with Jury and Dickey?
he's pushed back his signing to tomorrow, possibly.
I mean, he kind of has been trolling today.
Yeah,
to
he's
be
been
honest.
trolling a
So
little bit.
It's hard to say. He keeps saying he's got an announcement, but not a signing announcement, but another announcement. I mean, at this point, I'm not optimistic on him, but we'll see.
Well, actually, no, never mind. It said he signed.
Okay.
Said he signed with Oregon, so
I'm definitely not optimistic with him then.
Yeah. I literally just read it right now. So.
Not comfortable with him coming into this class though. So
yeah, I'm definitely not comfortable either.
That's what's up. Yeah, there we go. I like how our chat's on delayed. We found out already, but Kyle actually saw it before us. He's not put in the chat after we said it.
Yeah, I just realized it also. So I haven't looked at my phone until right now. And I just saw it. So
yeah, the funny thing hosting the show is we're behind the news. So anything that happened in the last 2 hours, we have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but anyways,
it's fine. I don't think we were planning on him anyway. Another question. I know both of you watched some of his tape. Is Gore athletic enough to be an inside linebacker?
Who, Gore?
Yeah.
No.
D-line.
No, that guy's a defensive tackle all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see inside linebacker in his future.
Yeah. By the way, someone put out. See, this is the problem I have, man. I don't know if it's real or not, but someone said something about Antoine Jackson saying now that he backed out, that he backed out of his thing, that he backed out of his commitment. I don't know. Anyways. I'm not gonna get into that.
I mean, he signed, from what I understand, right?
Yeah. So
so you can't back. Those things are binded, man.
This is the problem, man. This is the problem.
Be careful what you read on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say is if he signed it, players have done that before. You have to actually transfer it.
Yeah. Now you have to enter the transfer portal. Whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. You know what? If he doesn't want to, I don't care. Back to February. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow, everybody, about Cormani McClain and the rest of the guys. So keep it locked. I don't really have anything else because I'm absolutely wasted by this already.
It's been a great day. Great day for the school. Man. Congratulations to all the kids, whether you sign with Miami or not. It's a big day for a lot of promising young kids and their future. So sign day is always one of the better days. Because even if you don't, get, obviously this isn't the case with Miami this year, but even if you don't get the class you wanted, you're still, bringing on a bunch of new kids to college and giving them a chance to have a brighter future. So,
and you're optimistic depending on the class too. It's renewed optimism.
Yeah,
for at least a little bit until the games start, and then it depends where your school goes from there. But it's renewed optimism.
Roderick, we won't post it, but just be careful what you see on Twitter also, because I don't know if it's a trolling account or not. But you spelled that wrong, 904 Hurricane, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes, that's another one to keep your eye on as well. So there's a lot of things to keep your eye on tomorrow. I, for one, will be doing a lot of things that will keep me away from my phone, which I'm so happy about, as I'm getting ready for Christmas and having some people over. Vish, what are you doing for Christmas, man?
Going to some dude's house for Noche Buena. I don't know
who. Oh man, yeah, buddy. Vish is gonna lower his faculties a little bit with the Santana family just for a little while. But
I mean, at least you'll keep me in check. You guys aren't big drinkers, so I won't.
I'll be like,
I'll my faculties will stay intact at least.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's what we're praying for, know. No. But nah, it's all good. It doesn't matter. DJ, what do you got planned for Christmas, man?
Just laying low, hanging out with the family at home. Probably we're all sick. It's that time of year up here. It's cold. It's wet. It's disgusting. So we all got colds and stuff. So we're probably just going to lay low. But I like a laid back Christmas. I don't plan on spending a lot of money on anybody. So if any of my family members see this, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is this year.
I'm sorry, but you're not getting jack.
You know what? It's the thought that counts, and you just told them you did not care.
You did not care. Right? Your thoughts are clearly that you don't care, right? All good, man. We want to wish everybody. By the way, again, let's thank Coach Hayes, David, Dave Franklin from Miami Flow Media, Max, and of course the boss man himself, Flo, for jumping on with us. Obviously, we thank Blue always for being with us as well, and everybody else, everybody on the chat, everybody that's watched the show.
Get some
today.
rest, everybody.
Yes, get some rest. Be with your loved ones for Christmas. And you know what? If you don't have a place to go and you're in the Miami area, always hit me up, man. Hit me up on Twitter, man. I'm always down to chill with anybody. So as long as you don't have like 8 people that you're with, because it's not gonna. No, I'm just kidding.
I feel attacked.
But no, you're good. You're good. Always sending love and blessings to everybody on special occasions like this, and always period. But please stay safe and have a good time and eat food and be with your family and friends. And we want to wish everybody a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. If we don't hear from you, if we don't do a show, which we're probably gonna do something, Happy New Year anyways as well. Vish and DJ, Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yep, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll definitely see you guys very soon on here. We appreciate you checking us out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at 6 Rings Canes, at Jazz Santana, DJ 95, and of course at VRP 2003. We appreciate the love as always. We'll see you guys next week. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
The 6 Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The 6 Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Cane Show. You know.